You got to be confident. It all starts from the core. There's a fine line between being confident and arrogant. And the definition of confident to me is knowing you're the best and no one's better than you. And arrogant is thinking you're the best. So when you look at the difference, arrogance, confidence, thinking versus knowing. I know I'm the best. I know for a fact no one's better than me. I know for a fact, and why do I know? Because I don't want to be able to think I'm good. I don't want to be able to think I'm better than other people, because that's arrogance. That's not confidence. Thinking versus knowing.
This is the Real Talk University podcast, where your hosts, Andre and Christian, explore success stories outside of the classroom.
We're just going to go right into it and ask you just to kind of tell our audience about yourself and what you do briefly.
Yeah, so, well, first things first, 24 years old right now. Got involved in the business world at a very young age of first it all came from when I was 8 years old. I got introduced to personal development and self-development for the very first time. Someone handed me a movie called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. I'm not sure if you watched it, but I literally watched this entire movie, but I learned chess. I learned how to play chess 2 years prior to watching my very first personal development movie. And I'm practicing chess as well as I'm going out there and watching personal development in front of me. Kind of like, this 80% of life is psychological. So now I'm, preparing to become this grandmaster at chess. And on the sideline, I'm learning how, the mind works with visualization and affirmations and psychology, etc. And then, I found 5 mentors who mentored me in 4 different aspects of my life: health, wealth, spirituality, and relationships. And I believe every single one of them makes up 100%. So 4 pillars, 25% each, is a total of 100%. And most people in life, we'll go more into detail about this, but most people in life have mastered health but never mastered wealth. And some people have mastered wealth but never ever mastered spirituality, etc. And 16 years old, I get involved in a chocolate fudge business in school, making on average $200 a day. And that's when I started developing systems in place and finding the most influential people in each grade and them selling it for me. And I just became a raw entrepreneur. And then eventually at 18 years old, got involved in the business world. And I started off in affiliate marketing, direct sales. And that specific business today has, we do about, just my organization has grown to about 91. Sorry about that. We got cut off. There was a call that came in. So my organization has grown to about 91,000 affiliates. We do about $4.5 million per month in revenue. Over and above that, I've ventured out into multiple different businesses. Today, I own over 20 different businesses, from an investor to a property investor, commodities, to direct sales, to e-commerce, to motivational speaking, to, just a serial entrepreneur. 19 years old, made my first 6 figures. 21 made my first 7 figures, and 24 made my first 8 figures. But most importantly, I come from an average background where the average income in South Africa is about $200 a month. So picture this. I'm in a third world country. Everyone's thinking third world. Everyone's work ethics is first world. But most importantly, $200 a month will get you absolutely nowhere. So there's a lot of poverty out there. I did not come from the wealthiest background. In fact, when I first got involved in business, I barely had enough money in my bank account to keep a bank account open. And no bank has ever financed me. They've always declined me on finance for cars and homes. And I'm very grateful for that, purely based on the fact of, you don't need anyone to finance you. You need to be able to finance yourself. That taught me a lot, because it taught me to stay away from debt. It taught me a lot in the sense of, don't buy something you can't afford. There's no point of buying something you can't afford to impress people you don't like. And eventually what started to happen was, now starting an e-commerce business takes me less than 6 to 12 hours. Jumping on a stage and speaking for 25,000 people at Dallas, Texas, the AT&T Stadium, and in a few months' time in a few thousand people in LA. But, constantly having the opportunity, to associate myself with people who have what I want from life. And I was always taught, find someone that has what you want, do what they do, say what they say, and you get what they get all the time. And I was very fortunate to find the right type of mentors. And I had virtual mentors before I physically had a mentor. They say if you don't have access to a mentor, you really don't have a mentor. So I really didn't have a real physical mentor. I had virtual mentors. I studied them a lot. When people ask me, who's your mentor? Who mentored you? Very simple, www.youtube.com. That's who mentored me. YouTube.com mentored me for years, because what I love about YouTube is never going to pick up the phone and say, hey, did you manage to watch a video today? Hey, did you manage to execute today? Hey, did you manage to study so-and-so today? And that's what a mentor should do. A mentor should never be the one babying you. A mentor should be the one aligning you. And, I had so much of adversity and odds against me. The odds were stacked against me. I was the underdog. Coming from a third world country, and life has radically changed. I mean, the cars and the homes are byproduct. I drive beautiful cars, but it doesn't make me. I make it. I live in a beautiful home. I just bought the president's home in South Africa. Once again, it doesn't make me. I make it. Money should never make you. You should always be in control to make money. And when you figure out that you can make money, and it's very easy to make money, you'll realize something. You'll realize that you just need to outwork the world. And I created a tagline, a few years ago called "Work Like You Broke." And I wanted to let people know, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter what your net worth is, no matter what your background is, what you drive, where you live, work like you're broke. Be able to work harder than everyone else out there. If there was an 8-day in the week, I want to be working 8 days a week. When Forbes chooses people to appear on the Forbes list, they calculate net worth. I'd love to be calculated. I know for a fact I'll be on the Forbes list, but I don't want to just be on the Forbes list for net worth. I want to be able to be on the Forbes list for calculating the amount of lives I impact and change. I'm very fortunate to create over 100 six-figure earners in just under 2 years, the last 2 years. I'm not counting the past 7 years being in business. Transitioning from work like you broke, I created a tagline and the brand, the Millionaire Student, to show people and tell people, hey, you're going to become a millionaire. You guys, it's destined. It's going to happen. But always stay in student mode. Never forget who you are, where you're from, and most importantly, never let the money make you. You need to make the money. So I hope that answers the question. And
Definitely. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, but it's super inspirational story, background. It's awesome. And I just want to touch on one thing that was important is having your mentors. So it's something that a lot of people know that they need, but struggle with finding mentors. So like you said, YouTube is obviously huge. It doesn't have to be like a physical mentor starting out with. And then again, accountability is huge. Having someone to keep you and hold you accountable is huge. And that's kind of what the mentor is there to do. You have anything to add?
Not much, man. That was definitely amazing, your background and all the hard work that you've put in. But you want to move forward into the
So we're just kind of interested if you want to go deeper into what exactly the Millionaire Student is.
Well, very simple. The Millionaire Student right now is a brand that I've developed and created, where since I've mastered a few aspects of life. I've started over 15 different e-commerce businesses. I've got a social media marketing agency, and I'm a numbers guy, man. I'm not the guy that's going to sit here and tell you stats and tell you numbers if we can't be able to back it up. Because in today's world, there's a lot of fluff out there. There's a lot of inflated numbers out there. There's no real documentation. And I always say documentation will forever beat conversation. My social media marketing company has over 1,000 clients. We did $200,000 last month. That's profit, not revenue. My affiliate marketing business, $4.5 million. We're doing pretty well on that. Total income right now, we're sitting sweet at about $500,000 a month. But I've been doing this for years. Once again, outworking every single person out there, outworking myself, and just going out there and being able to pack a schedule 24/7, 365. If there's 24 hours in a day, 8 hours should go to sleeping, 8 hours should potentially go to working if you're working 9 to 5, and 8 hours should go to self-development, personal development, and action. And, I just attended a Les Brown conference today. He asked me to come up on stage and share a bit about my story. But I believe in life, everything is right up here. 80% of life is psychological. So before I became the Millionaire Student, I became a student. Way before the tagline, the Millionaire, came in, I became a student. And I was just willing to learn. Most people are resistant to learning. They're so resistant to learning that they actually want to become the teacher before they actually become the student. And the sad reality is you can't learn from yourself. When I talked about health, wealth, spirituality, and relationships, find a mentor in every different aspect. Every aspect. My social media guy who mentors me makes over $100,000 a day. That's why I got mentored by him. I got someone who's mentoring me in my physique. Once again, he's mentoring the likes of P. Diddy and, those type of people. And I've got different types of mentors, but the main aim is I base my mentors on track record and past success, not what they can, how many followers they have on social media, how much of engagement they have on social media, but how many lives have they really and truly impacted. So when I go back and when I'm talking about psychological, the mindset, when you take the word SAW, I saw myself driving that Ferrari way before I drove it. I saw myself driving that McLaren before I drove it. I saw myself driving the Aston Martin before I drove it. I saw myself living that dream home way before I even moved into that home. I saw myself traveling the world first class. I saw myself selling out AT&T Stadium, 25,000 people at $299 person per head. I saw myself writing that book. I saw myself feeding over 1,000 kids. Now, when you flip that word SAW, it's WAS. I was there in my mind before I physically manifested it. I was driving that car. I was living in that home. I was traveling the world. I was going out there and, experiencing that lifestyle before I manifested it. So it's all psychological. They say the biggest disease in the world is not cancer. It's not HIV and AIDS. It's not diabetic. It's not you being diabetic. It is actually a negative mindset. And a negative mindset can even cure cancer today. I believe the biggest diseases start from within. And when they start from within, it starts to eat you up from within. So when you look at cancer, you'll never be able to pick it up unless you go for tests. But you will be able to pick it up when you start losing weight. You will be picking it up when you can see a physical difference in your appearance. It's too late. A negative mindset will come in and eat you up from inside out rather than from outside in. And so vital, who you associate yourself with is what you become. It's natural. You're listening to this webinar right now. You're listening to this podcast right now. You're going to go out there and associate yourself with the wrong type of people. It's natural. There are going to be people that's going to come into your life for the wrong reasons. Hang around for the good times, eat at good restaurants, jump in good cars, travel the world, backstage passes. They want to be around for the good times. There's 3 phases in life: prosperity, adversity, and a plateau. And I'm going to break this down for you right now because all 3 phases can and will be impactful in your 4 aspects in life. So when your health is going through prosperity, your wealth could go through adversity. And when your spirituality is going through prosperity, maybe your health is going through a plateau. Now, in life, this is how it works. If you go through prosperity first, you're only expecting prosperity. You're expecting, I'm going to win, I'm going to win, I'm going to win, I'm going to win. So when the negativity shows up, When the hate shows up, well, guess what? That's the reason why 99% of the people quit. It takes you out the game because you had the expectation of winning and only winning. I respect people that go through adversity first because they mentally prepare themselves for negativity. They mentally prepare themselves for failure. So when success starts to show up, they're like, okay, I'll let you in. They're not, attached to success. Now, if you go through prosperity first, if the minute you go through prosperity, you go through adversity after. And the minute you go through adversity, phase number 1 gets repeated again in phase number 3. Prosperity, adversity, prosperity. The fourth phase is a plateau. What is a plateau? It's where you move 5 steps forward and then you move 5 steps back. It's like moving nowhere. It's like in life, it's a combination of prosperity and adversity combined. And I've managed to make people understand there's no such thing as you being positive 24/7, 365. If anyone told you to be positive, all day, every day, then they lied to you. Because at the end of the day, I don't teach people how to stay positive. I teach people how to counterattack the negativity. Counterattacking the negativity, stop letting it happen within you. Start letting it happen to you. So when negativity shows up, let it hit you and bounce off. Don't let it crawl in and eat you up from within. It's all a psychological game. When I say 80% of life is psychological and 20% is mechanics, I love The Secret. Don't get me wrong. I was taught that 17 years ago. I've been working my mind for 17 years before we created the Millionaire Student. I've been working my mind for 17 years before 8 figures popped up. But I want you to understand something. The Secret teaches you manifestation. It teaches you personal development. It really doesn't teach you action. It doesn't teach you how to execute. It teaches you how to be positive, how to have the right mindset, how to visualize, how to affirm it, how to speak it into existence. It doesn't teach you how to work harder than everyone else. And that's what I want you to develop, the work like you broke mindset, where you need to work harder than anyone out there. Now, as we speak right now, there's someone on their deathbed. There's someone sitting on their bed right now fighting for their life. Maybe they got cancer. I don't know what they have. Maybe they just about to breathe the last few breaths of their life. You have an able mind, you have an able body, you have an able soul, and you're sitting out there free as hell. Someone's fighting for their life, but you're neglecting your life. And you gotta understand something. When you have an able mind, able body, and able soul, and you neglect it, what starts to happen is the opportunities close on you and open on someone else. Everything in life that I've ever taught has been taught in the future. I never teach. I never live in the present. I never live in the past. I'm all about the future. I'm all about the future because if you can live in the future, you will attract it and it'll feel like deja vu. So you guys are interviewing me right now, but on the Millionaire Student show, I'm interviewing Rich the Kid in 2 hours time. And once again, I knew I was going to interview him. He invited me to his home. Tomorrow, I'm interviewing Ludacris. He invited me to his home. Monday, Akon's coming to my hotel. I'm interviewing him as well. Yesterday, Jordan Belfort and I did an interview. Last night, Les Brown and I did an interview. All of this was visualized. It was all in my mind. Now, here's the deal. Today's day and age, everyone wants to sell you something. I want to be able to do courses for free. I want to be able to impact people for free. I want to be able to break even on my book. I want to be able to create something for free and never be able to ask why. We're living in a world today where Facebook ads and Instagram ads is everywhere. That's where we're moving towards. That's a trend. Trend for the early 1990s, online. So trend for is all about the .coms, websites, online, and the internet. Think about it for a moment. If you could go back in time and you could invest in Microsoft, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, Google, Apple, where would you be today? Trend for the early 2000s is all about property. the properties you invested in, you're making at least 200, 300, 400% more than what you bought it for. Trend for the decade we're in right now is all about e-commerce and home-based businesses. It's all about click and order. Everything can be shipped to your front door. Think about it for a moment. Gone are the days where you need to physically stand in a queue, a line, order your stuff, wait for 2 hours, or sometimes get it delivered 3, 4, 5 days down the line. It's all about click and order. That's where we're shifting towards. So nowadays you have these gurus and influencers who are all around the world. They have absolutely no track record, no history. I have not felt like I've made it. I have not felt I've arrived. I believe no one should feel like they've arrived. If you watch Warren Buffett's documentary, at 85 years old with a net worth of $65 billion, he still goes to work every single day. I want you to think about that for a moment. Tim Ferriss created the book, The 4-Hour Work Week. I'm excited about that, but I can't work 4 hours a week. I can't work 4 hours a week. I want to be engaged. Think about it for a moment. If I gave you $84,000 and I told you, hey, you got until midnight. I'm going to put on your card and your checking card. You got to go out there and spend the money today. Because the minute we touch into a brand new day, the $84,000 is gone. How fast would you spend it? As fast as you can see something, because you know you can't spend it. You'd buy almost everything, every single thing that looks good. You'll walk into shops, you'll swipe your card, and you would go on a shopping spree. Okay? What if I told you 84,000 would be deposited tomorrow again, and again the next day, and again the following day, and all you really got to do is spend it. And if you don't spend it, well, you waste it. But we're going to give you 84,000 again. Well, the way you spend it starts to change, and that intrigues me because sorry about that, guys. I just got a call. So that intrigues me. I'll tell you why it intrigues me. Because we all have 84,000 seconds in a day. When I mean we got 84,000 seconds in a day, you can't carry over 84,000 seconds tomorrow. It's going to expire. And if you don't spend it as fast as you have it, well, guess what? Time is the biggest commodity. No Rolex, no watch, no time on your phone, digital, analog, can be paused for a moment. Nothing. Time should be your biggest commodity. And that's why I teach people the definition of rich is when you have all the money in the world, but no time. And the definition of wealthy is when you have the time to spend the money you make. And it's very rare to find people who have both in life. And I teach people how to live and not exist. So I fly around the world and I unleash my inner beast in teaching people, touching souls and impacting people, and just going out there. Because here's the deal. Businesses are incredible. You can open up a business in a split second today. It takes a few hours to build a site, payment portal set up. It takes a few hours to start an affiliate marketing business and start promoting it. Whatever you want to do. But I want you to understand something. The minute you become successful, don't let success make you. You need to learn how to make success. A lot of people start to lose value. And I love the fact that you guys are young, because it reminds me of when I was 18 years old. And right now I'm still out working myself. I got a 10-year plan. People ask me, what's my next goal? I don't have a money goal. I have a creation goal. I want to create tens of thousands of documented success stories. And today my business has grown to 39 countries around the world with 91,000 affiliates. I'll tell you one thing right now. What if I told you yesterday over 1,700 affiliates joined my organization in 24 hours? And that's where I'm at right now. So clean heart. When you have a clean heart, you put the right message out there, the universe starts to reward you the right things. So a lot of people on this call right now, the webinar, and they sort of question, why am I not winning? Why am I not winning as fast as this 24-year-old kid from South Africa, where the average income is $200 a day, a month? Why am I not winning as much as Rich the Kid, Ludacris, and Haykal, and, you know, Jordan Belfort and all these other guys? I'll tell you why, because you're comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 30. You're comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 30. You don't know what they did in their previous life before they enter the entrepreneurial world. You don't know. Stop comparing. This is you. This is God. When your preparation meets with God's timing, that magic moment ignites a fire called momentum. From that very moment onwards, it's game over. A lot of people are sitting on this side. God's on this side. If you don't believe in God, no problem. The universe, whatever you want to call it, the minute that connection meets, it's game over. A lot of people are literally sitting on one side and saying, hey, I want you to meet God. I want you to meet me first before I show up halfway. No, you need to be prepared to outwork everyone. And when the timing is right, it's game on. Don't question your results. Question your work ethic. And I see it all the time. I look at it all the time. You shop at all these places, wherever you want to go, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Lamborghini, Ferrari. You'll never see a big 20, 50% discount sign outside the store. It's not going to happen. Those quality products never go on sale. Success will never be able to go on sale. You'll never be able to negotiate on the price of success. And I want you to just understand something. 80% is psychological, 20% is hard work. When you meet that combination, it's game over. It's game over. No matter what you do, we all can relate. And don't think too small. Think much bigger.
Yeah, that's
That
awesome.
was incredible for sure.
a lot of value there in that whole spiel right there. And I think one of the biggest takeaways is just manifestation. Just people don't really realize simple things like writing down your goals, visually, seeing yourself where you want to be in X amount of years, like what that could actually do for you. I know, like you said, you visualize yourself interviewing Jordan Belfort. Like Christian and I 2 months ago visualize ourselves interviewing people like you, people we interviewed just recently, like big names that we, people called us crazy for thinking we could do months ago. And just manifesting that, it's something that people have to realize more and take more advantage of. But I just want to ask you real quick if you could just tell everyone what you're up to now. I know you're out in LA, you're doing some speeches and whatnot. Are you working on anything specifically?
So right now I'm on a tour. So it's a 26-day tour in about 8 countries and 4 continents. From here, I leave to South Africa. From South Africa, I go to Nigeria, I go to Ghana, I go to UK, and I go to Colombia and a few other places. So 4 different continents. But out here right now, I'm shooting content for the Millionaire Student show, which is my YouTube channel. If you want to subscribe to that, go to YouTube and just type in Sashin Govender and subscribe to that. And then I'm creating a Millionaire Student course. And once again, I want to be able to give value to people, teach people. So people like Akon and Ludacris will be teaching in my course. Tomorrow, I've got a meeting with Alex Mayer and Ty Lopez at their place as well. So once again, all these people, I've managed to become good friends with them. I'll tell you why. Because they've recognized one thing. When I met them a few years ago at 18, I wasn't a talker. I'm a doer. Talk is cheap. And I know people say talk is cheap, but really and truly, we want to see action. Action always beats perfection. I don't care about being perfect. I don't want you to be perfect. I want you to execute and take action. So I'm in LA right now, hang out at the Waldorf and, go back-to-back meetings, and I'm shooting a lot of content and hooking up with a lot of people, influencers, people who are in and out of the industry, people who are mentees and mentors, and people who, I used to look at social media and say, hey, that's my virtual mentor. And now we've transitioned from virtual to physical, from, a mentor that I had on YouTube to a physical mentor, like Rich the Kid. I got his number, and, people like that. Jordan Belfort's coming to South Africa, staying in my place, different types of people. So yeah, it's all about that, man.
Yeah, going back to what you said in the previous question that we asked, I really liked what you said about how people compare their step one to their step, like other people's step 30.
Yeah.
Because I think today, like social media really makes people think that success is instant and that you're going to reap these benefits right away. But no one's really documenting the kind of struggles that they went through to get there. So that just kind of segues into my question. Like, how did you deal with adversity and negativity when you first started in terms of staying motivated?
So my parents have been separated since I've been 2 years old. My mom and my dad didn't speak to each other from when I was 2 till I was about 20 years old or 21 years old. So that was a lot of adversity and a lot of pain from there. People who come from a rough background and have a lot of pain, they tend to have this attitude of, hey, I want to prove to the world and prove to myself that I can really and truly make it. Another stepping stone of adversity for me was coming from a third world country where the average income is $200 a month. So once again, you got to understand, I got the whole country looking down and saying, man, we're living in a third world country. We have third world mindsets and we have, third world bank accounts. But you got to understand something. People from third world countries, they know how to work 7 days a week for their money. So I had the work ethics that was there. And once again, I just needed to make that shift. It's kind of like a change from gear number 1 to gear number 7 or 5 or 6 or whatever you want to call it. It's kind of like going from a V8 engine to a V12 engine. I need to step up my game. I needed to increase, my actions. And, I didn't focus on the negativity. So when you look at a marathon, when you're running a marathon, there's always these people on the left and the people on the right, and they're screaming your name and celebrating you. Those are people that want you to fall. Those are people that want you to trip. Those are people that actually showed up to the marathon to see if you really finished the race. Now, there are people like that in your life. Think about it. You're on a treadmill. Turn up that speed. Don't look left. Don't look right. Don't look back. Because if you do, you're going to trip and fall on your face. Turn up the speed to a point where all you can really see is ahead and, most importantly, one foot in front of the other. And if you can do that, I assure you one thing, you get so distracted. I was going through a period of my life where my grandfather passed on a few years ago, about 2 years ago. My grandfather was like my first dad. Long story short, my grandfather was diabetic, and he was very successful. But successful does not mean successful in today's day and age. He was diabetic, and I watched him losing like about 60% of his weight. And I was the guy picking him up from his bed, putting him in my car, driving him to the hospital, putting him in a wheelchair, taking him up to the 4th floor. And he was getting dialysis at 6 a.m. every single morning. And what started to happen was eventually the hospital phoned me whilst I was training. I was doing a personal development event in Fort Lauderdale, Miami. And they said, Sashin, your grandfather now needs dialysis 2 times a day, 6 and 12. And I said, give it to him. I'll pick him up from the bed, put him in my car, drive him to the hospital, put him in the wheelchair, take him up, put him in the bed, pick him up after the second session. A few months later, Sashin, your grandfather needs dialysis 3 times a day, 6, 12, 4 p.m. I said, let's do it. Problem is, a few months later, they said, your grandfather needs dialysis 4 times a day. So I said, what does it cost? It says he needs private dialysis, which means someone needs to come home. It's going to cost you $100 a day. I was barely making anything close to that, but I realized something. If I don't put $100 a day, my grandfather's about to pass on in the next few days. That was my reason. When you look at the word WHY, it stands for what hurts you. What keeps you going? I went through so much of pain that my reason to succeed validated almost every single excuse. Some people right now, they don't trust their why. They don't trust their mentors. But when they jump in a plane, they don't even need to know the pilot's name. They don't look the pilot dead in the eye. They don't shake the pilot's hand. But when they jump on that seat, they trust someone who they don't know to take them from A to B, yet they can't even trust their mentor, or they can't even trust themselves. The sad reality is we're living in a world where people want to see instant gratification and instant results. Kind of like you put the food in the microwave, 60 seconds later it heats up. Well, try take your hand, put it in the microwave, try close your hand in the microwave and try put it up to 60 seconds. You can't. You can't compress success. You can't compress the journey. You can't compress work ethics. There's a price to pay. And if you pay the price will eventually pay you.
Good. Yeah, that's definitely incredible. I mean, now that you're obviously more successful, how do you kind of try to stay motivated yourself? Is it money, impacting others, like you said?
I wake up every morning, man. I go to www.forbes.com and my name is not there. And I go back to work. I've not arrived. I've
That's
not
amazing.
made it. I'm nowhere close. Yeah, the income is good. Even if I try to spend every month, I can't. I collect rental properties. I collect businesses all over around the world. And I can't spend it, but I don't get motivated by that, man. I get motivated by the success stories and developed. I created 1,000 residual earners in the past 7 years.
That's amazing. So obviously you have all these companies you're focusing on and working on. Yeah, and yeah, there's a lot of time in the day, but there's also, like you said, you got to work smarter. So how are you able to do that? Are there certain like apps or resources you use to manage your time, or do you have like, set routines?
Well, it's funny that the new iPhone X, the big one, the Plus, what it starts to do is it measures the amount of time you spend on social media and the amount of time you spend on a call. And I'm about 30 to 50 calls per day on average, because that's like my mentorship calls that I'm jumping on with all my core entrepreneurs and mentees. If I'm flying around the world, I try to book airlines which has Wi-Fi so I can maximize it. I don't let anyone, my assistant can never touch my social media. I want to be able to impact the people. I want to be able to reply to the people. I want to be able to work with the people. Because, I can hire an assistant and she can do all of that stuff and generically do it and people can think it's me. But when I bump into someone in the street and they say, hey, you commented on my post or you send me a direct message and I look all confused because it really wasn't me. I want to be engaged. I want to be there. So it's all about delegating now. It's totally different compared to where we were. Where we were, it was all about hard work, but now it's about hard work and smart work combined. It's about delegating. We're on Zoom right now. The world is shifting towards technology. Everything is done on your phone. I can jump on phone calls, jump on webinars, run my entire business on social media, and be able to, be a mobile entrepreneur. And in my book, The Millionaire Student, that's about to be launched in the next few weeks, one of my chapters is online versus offline. And I teach people how to master online if you haven't already. And if you have mastered online, I teach people how to master offline. So when you look at, a typical example of baby boomers are good at online, but not good at offline. And then you have people the millennials are good at online and not good at offline. They're very good at social media, but they're not good at working hard. And the baby boomers are damn good at offline because they can outwork the world, but they're not good at online. And I teach people how to make that direct, take that comparison and, go out there and collaborate both together and outwork the world. And whilst you're doing that, you got to understand something. You got to be confident. It all starts from the core. There's a fine line between being confident and arrogant. And the definition of confident to me is knowing you're the best and no one's better than you. And arrogant is thinking you're the best. So when you look at the difference, arrogance, confidence, thinking versus knowing. I know I'm the best. I know for a fact no one's better than me. I know for a fact, and why do I know? Because I don't want to be able to think I'm good. I don't want to be able to think I'm better than other people, because that's arrogance. That's not confidence. Thinking versus knowing.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to go back to what you were saying about mastering the aspect of online. So obviously you know how to use and leverage social media very well for your businesses, but how important really is social media to the success of young business people?
Oh, without a doubt, social media is everything. It's the only way in the world you can get in front of 8 billion people as fast as possible. It is the only way you can reach the world. Social media as we speak right now is, think about it from you can do business from USA to all 6-7 continents around the world. Social media right now as we speak, you can scale your growth to anything you want. Think about it for a moment. They say if Facebook was a country, it would be the 3rd largest country in the world, okay? If Facebook was a country, it would be the 3rd largest country around the world, okay? I want you to understand that as we speak right now, that's why I developed and created a social media marketing agency, because I know there's a niche market there, and I know there's huge opportunities out there. But at the end of the day, my entire business is built on social media. I mean, this last year, I think I spent about between $150,000 to $200,000 in ads. But this year, my budget's over $1 million in ads. And why? Because it's the only way that you can go out there and get in hell. Sorry about that. So social media. Sorry about that, bro.
No worries. No worries.
Social media is the only way around the world that can get you to scale the growth to almost anyone that you want to be in life. You guys cool?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you just cut out a little bit. But yeah, no, I completely agree. It's like social media, it's so easy to, instantly connect with your audience or the people you're trying to reach or the customers you're trying to acquire. And there's so many unique approaches you could do. Like you could stand out by making unique content, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
But here's the deal. It could be a pro and a con.
exactly.
Because you can get people out there who they put a front online. When you meet them, they have absolutely no clue about what they're talking about. You can pay, advisors today. You can pay content creators today. You can pay people to do your stuff today, just to set up that meeting, that first impression. But realistically speaking, it's all about going out there and, being raw, real, transparent, and honest. When I was growing up, I was always taught you have two hands, one to give and one to take. And the minute you take with both hands, people will take from you with both hands. So you need to develop a way where it's a win-win for people.
That's awesome.
I got Rich the kid trying to blow up my phone here whilst I'm on this webinar with you guys.
Tell him to hop in and say what's up.
We can make him wait. Don't stress.
Yeah, he could join us if he wants.
Yeah, tell him to hop on.
Yeah, I'll connect you guys with him.
Awesome. Okay, so again, social media is like a double-edged sword, right? And Gary Vee, obviously, he just came out today and he said you can't win if you're outsourcing. You can't outsource a brand, because what a brand is, it's you, it's yourself, it's what you are as an authentic person, and that's a lot of people just don't want to put in the work. So we just wanted to ask specific questions on social media, just because you've had so much success with it. What do you think the best way to approach social media is? Do you think it's better to, focus on one platform and then disperse into the others, or kind of have a balance? What's the best way to attack it?
Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube is what I'm mastering right now. And my ads are going through Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram as we speak right now. But most importantly, you want to be able to, I post every 4 hours. You want to be able to post on average 1 to 2 times a day. That's number one. Number two, you want to be able to, communicate with the world. Follow 5 people a day on average. Just 5. Don't get blocked on social media's algorithm. Just follow 5 people. Add 5 people on Facebook. Reach out to 5 people a day. Just make that connection. It's kind of like when you're in a shopping mall. All you're going to do is take your hand out and put it out 5 times and shake 5 people's hands. Don't get their contact info. Look them in the eye, because when they see you the next time, familiarity is what we're looking at. You create that appearance. You create that first impression. And if I tell you, I got rejected 145 times when I first got involved in affiliate marketing. 145 times, people looked me dead in the eye, slapped my face, and told me, no, you'll never become successful. You'll never make it in life. I went straight to social media and I built my entire business on social media.
That's amazing. And failure is another thing, like you talked about. It's like every failure brings you closer to success. And it's not really a failure unless you quit, right? So that's another thing.
I'm gonna put it. You mind? Okay. I was just people. I feel like when they're putting out content, they feel like it has to be perfect. And I think that's just a huge waste of time. Like if you're just worrying about what people are going to say about your content rather than just pumping it out. So I'm assuming you would definitely recommend that the content is just
Yeah.
genuine.
Well,
Yeah.
it took me 6 years to go out there and hire videographers. In fact, I'm in California right now. That's one of my videographers right there. I got a GQ photographer with me right now, and I got one of my buddies here. I got 3 guys in South Africa. That's my personal editors, videographers, and photographers. My social media marketing company is over 50. But the ultimate aim here is understanding that stuff, leave it for another day. Go get your story right first. Before you want the glory, go get your story right. You can't build a brand without results. A brand comes from hard work. When you inspire people, you give them permission to click follow, like, or subscribe. Stop going out and asking people to follow you if you don't have a track record, if you haven't built up the brand. Now, don't build the brand first and then think success is going to show up. No, build your life, build your financial house, outwork the world, then build your brand, then build your following.
That's so true. And another thing also about that is that people, they want to get their stories right. And then to their understanding, it's like their story is never perfect or their story is never good enough. And that they're always working on that story. And by the time, to them, their self-approval comes in and they start posting, it's too late. So it's also now you got to take advantage. Like you're saying, like you have all these people, but you started somewhere. Everyone starts somewhere. You don't have, a whole crew to help you do your social media, do your video. So people got to understand that it's not like you just catapult into where you're at. Like Christian and I, like we're just literally filming on our laptop in my bedroom with, the cheapest equipment. It's just, you got to do what you got to do. Right. And it's all
raw
about
and it's real and it's authentic and it's going to get you far because you're not, compressing your growth, and you'll never be able to look back and say, hey, this is where I came from. You have something, you can take a screenshot of this right now and say, hey, once upon a time, I was interviewing this kid from South Africa who makes freaking who came from a background for $200. We had an average mic. We were in our little room, but now we freaking own one of the biggest media publications around the world. And we're interviewing this guy when he was a millionaire, now he's a billionaire. And we're all freaking billionaires. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And another thing I personally realized was like, if I don't really tend to focus on the results of this so far. Like what we're doing right now, just the personal interactions are what makes it for me. That's what makes it enjoyable and worth it.
Yeah. Without a doubt, man. Without a doubt.
Yeah, exactly. And I just wanted to ask you another specific question to you. Like obviously you have so much success with converting those online connections to in-person meetings. Like, you're in LA and you're connecting like real genuine connections with these people in person. So like, do you have like a strategy for that, or is it simply being genuine and, offering value?
How funny is this? I've attended so many dinners where I had to go out there and pay for the check. I had to make that initial investment before, and I sometimes had to go to places like Nobu and spend $700 and bump into someone like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then next thing you know, I put my hand out, I shake his hand, and I tell him where I'm from, and in 2 seconds we start to communicate, and we just, being real once again, we just make that connection, and eventually I'm sitting in front of him tomorrow. Stuff like that. People don't understand. They're so short-sighted. They can't see beyond their eyelashes. All they want to do is try and make the connection. Hey, Rich the Kid's never going to reach out to you. He's got 5 million people following him. Let's be real. Give him a reason to never forget your name.
That's exactly right. That's why we kind of reach out to people like you all the time to hopefully land an interview.
Love that.
I just want to go back. You actually ran into Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah. In the gym.
That's amazing.
That's sweet. Yeah. So, and then we're just going to go right back to content real quick, just to go a little deeper into your process. So what do you think the most important aspect of putting out content is, other than just being genuine and actually putting it out?
Well, here's the deal. I'm all about studying. So I've got this acronym AA, absorb, apply. So absorb from the content and apply instantly. Never feel like you need to be perfect. It's all about action. So when you're creating your content, don't worry about perfection. Worry about action. But the ultimate aim here is if you're going to try to perfect that video that's about to go out, or the podcast that's about to go out, well, let me tell you what's going to happen. It's never going to go out. Number one. And number two, your bar is going to be set so high that it's not going to change the perception of the listener. If the listener wants to listen to you, he'll listen to you. Think about it for a moment. Ronaldo, as we speak. If Ronaldo goes from Real Madrid to Juventus, people follow him because of Ronaldo. They don't follow Madrid. They followed Ronaldo. Juventus just made a shitload of money overnight. But let me tell you something. People follow people, not products, not companies. One day they'll follow you. And I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to, because I genuinely want you guys to win. I genuinely want to see people win in life. I don't care if you financially benefit me or not. If you're winning, I'm winning. Because the better the world gets, the easier it becomes for people like me.
Yeah, that's so true.
For sure. Anything you want to add or move on? Okay. So we're going to transition into a new topic here. Like, obviously you're a really good speaker. You're very confident. You know what you're saying. You don't really trip up on your words. But like when you're going in front of a crowd of like a sold out AT&T Center, like in Dallas, what goes through your mind in that situation? Are you nervous, excited?
We're going to change the fucking world. That's all I see. I don't see anything else. You can give me a topic 2 seconds before I walk on stage. I'll crush it. I'm no hype guy. I've got 17 years of personal development under my belt. I've spent over $1 million on personal growth, personal development.
That's so key, because that's something we stress too, is just self-education, because there's so much free shit out there. There's literally no excuse to not be self-educated.
Well, here's the deal. There's enough free stuff online. I wanted to mix online and offline. And offline too is the seminars. Seminars are vital. And you're going to get to a point where people like Les Brown is going to reach out to you one day and, hey, come over to my suite and come meet me for 20 minutes. And 20 minutes last night turned into 2 hours. And what started to happen was, hey, get a VIP ticket. I want to call you up on stage. You just keep attending enough events where people start looking and say, hold on, this is the real deal. There's no flake around this thing.
Like real in-person connections. It's what's huge.
Without a doubt.
So what's like the best piece of advice you've ever got from your mentors or like seeking self-education?
Best advice right now, I would say, is back your ability. When I mean back your ability, don't go out there and have any fear. Don't go out there and ask people whether you should do something. Life is all trial and error. You've got to fail your way to success. You've got to learn by doing, not learn by going out there and asking people, so you can be perfect. This will never be a perfect journey. The wealthiest people in the world have made it and lost it about 4 times.
Yeah.
Absolutely
People just
right.
can't accept the fact that it's not everything's going to go as planned. And there's so much uncertainty and blur in the future, and people just they can't mentally handle that, and that's the biggest preventer roadblock, I think, for a lot of people from being successful.
Yep. And we just interviewed a man named Peter Sage, and basically what his message was is to be happy now. Like, a lot of people are on the mindset where they're like, I'm going to be happy when I make $1 million or when I make 10 million, but he really stressed that you have to just find happiness.
The more grateful you are for the little bit of success that you have, then you will attract more success into your life. Some people I mentor, and I'll ask them, are you grateful at $500 a month? They say no. I say cool, let's get you to 5,000. We get them to 5,000. They're still not grateful. Why? Once again, you'll never be grateful if you can't be able, you'll never be grateful for the big time success if you can't be able to be grateful for the little bit. What's key here is understanding the beautiful cars and homes out there and the jets, they are built for man. If there's a home in Beverly Hills right now, one of my good friends, he owns Barney's. I'm not sure if you know him, but him and his dad owns Barney's, and they're worth about $7.2 billion. Now, this guy actually had you ever heard of Andy Milonakis?
Yeah, I just saw your video with him today, actually. That was funny.
So Andy and him are best friends, and he just played with Elon Musk, like tennis recently. But the ultimate, and I'm actually got lunch with him just now as well, probably before, after reach the kid. But the ultimate aim is, once again, this guy owns I think it's a $100 million home in New York. It's made for man. It's not made for non-humans. If a home is being built, it's made for people like you and I, which means we can afford it one day. We might not afford it today, but we can afford it. Cars are being built for humans to drive it, not robots, which means we can drive it. Jets are meant for you and I to own and charter. Well, it's meant for us, so let's go get it done. Stop thinking it's for people who are out of our league. I was sitting courtside at the LA Lakers game a few days ago, and I got courtside on Tuesday for another game once again. All these people are normal people. Normal people. I was sitting like opposite Floyd Mayweather. I had this bling chain. I never ever wear bling unless it's to the game. He had this thick bling chain, and mine was sparkling in his eyes, and he was sparkling in my eyes. And I went around to greet him, and he said, I like your chain. But the ultimate aim is, they're normal freaking people. People are so scared about successful people. That's why sometimes I'd rather take an Uber than drive my car, because people are so resistant of taking out their hand and putting it and say, hey, how are you doing? Because they feel like all these successful people are abnormal people. No, they're not. They're normal. They were once like you and I.
I think that's what the media is doing today. Like, you see all these people on TV all the time, and you don't actually think that they're real humans that go to bed and shower and stuff. Like, so when you see them in real life, you're like, oh my God, it's like a video game.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy that the media, and once again, the media is going to change the world, but we have access to the world on our phone today. And that's what I love. So what you're looking for is out there. Just go get it. Go search for it.
Absolutely. How was your interaction with Floyd, by the way? I'm curious about that.
One of the most cockiest guys you'll ever meet.
I'm not surprised.
I was going to assume that, but I was going to let you like speak on it and see if.
No, he shook my hand. He put his hand out there. He shook my hand. We had. So yeah, sorry about that. Floyd was one of the most cockiest guys. He shook my hand. We talked. Sorry about that, guys.
No
Richard
problem.
Kid and his
Good
manager.
Nancy.
Yeah, so I just told him, give me about 5 minutes. So Floyd, shake his hand, greet him, asked him for a picture, and he says no. So I said, okay, cool. 5 minutes later, asked him for a picture again. He says, you're not getting a picture. And to me, I'm like, fuck, okay, you probably worth $750 million, but one day you're going to come back to me and you're going to ask me for a picture, and I'm not going to be such a dick. I'm actually going to give you a picture. You got to understand, all these people don't realize we freaking make them. If we don't buy their tickets, they never succeed.
That's
unreal. Like, if I'm successful, I want to be the guy that's like really, really, like, if I were to be successful or famous one day, hopefully, I want to be the guy that's personable and will sit down with like an average dude and just have a conversation with him.
And that's what I love,
man.
Man.
Make that connection.
I'm enjoying this with you guys right now.
For sure, we appreciate it. Do you want to just do the lightning round quick?
Yeah, so we're just gonna do what we call a lightning round. So we understand you're super busy, so we just want to get this wrapped up pretty quick. So it's 3 quick questions, whatever comes to your head first, and then we'll wrap this up. So the first question is, what was your best purchase of $100 or less?
Best purchase of $100 or less was a personal development event. In South Africa, and it was with Brian Tracy.
Awesome. That's awesome. Okay, next question is, what's something that you believe in that other people think is crazy?
I believe in the law of attraction, and at least 98% of the world don't. So I believe in it because I've got 17 years of experience with the universe and the law of attraction. As much as you have all these different religions out there, I believe the law of attraction and your connection with the universe needs to be kind of a ritual in your life. So wake up every single day, personal development. Fall asleep every single day, personal development. I literally have an app that puts me to sleep and wakes me up on personal development.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's so key. You can't stress it enough.
Yeah.
So last question here is, what would you put on a billboard? What message would you put on a billboard if the entire world could see it?
The Millionaire Student, work like you broke.
I love it.
Love it.
I love it. Great slogan. Well, man, it's been
Appreciate
an
you.
absolute pleasure.
We'll drop your info for your Instagram in the show notes. We look forward to meeting with you in person soon someday.
Yeah.
And our interview with Rich the Kid. That'll be fun.
Stay blessed, guys.
You
Take
too,
care.
man. Appreciate it.